She's not on the morning shift.
No, she's a realtor.
Just started. Good morning, my beautiful people. How's everybody doing today?
Good morning.
All right, it is May 10th, and today's stakeholders meeting is jam-packed with some market condition stats, inventory, and everything Resolution Realty. I'd like to say hi to Ralph and his team. They are at Realty 1 with the Brocken Group. They came over today to say hi and see how we do it. Not with the Brocken Group, just Realty 1, not anymore. Okay, I've known you for 3 years, so I'm trying to piece it back together. So I'm glad all you guys came to attend today. We are going to get started with introducing Valerie, our success manager. Why don't you take it away?
Good morning, everyone. So welcome. I'm Valerie Fair, the success manager here at Resolution Realty. Woohoo! Thank you. Thanks, Kevin. All right, as Aaron said, we have a jam-packed schedule, so we're just going to go ahead and get started and bring up our very own lender from First Guarantee Mortgage, JD. Come on up, sir. Hey. What fun updates do you have for us?
Good morning. So JD, interest rates went up. People are talking a recession. You guys are crushing out loans. You got some good information for everyone today?
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think it is. Go for it.
So good morning, Jacques Desrochers. For people that don't know me, go by JD. Now you know why it's JD, right?
I prefer Jacques Desrochers.
Yeah.
It's
Had
a
nothing to
chocolate.
do with it. I showed up. There it was, Jacques Desrochers. Just want to point out some things here. I mean, take a look at this. This has to do with interest rates. Now take a look at the year. You got 2010 all the way to 2022. You see a slight incline up there? So, but look at 2019, right between 18 and 20. We were right about 5%. The reason I'm showing you this is because use that when you're speaking with your clients, that not all that long ago, we were at 5%,
Yeah.
right at the end of 2018, 2019. So, you know, I mean, we enjoyed extremely low rates. I've been doing this over 22 years. I never thought I would see 4s and then 3s and then high 2s. I mean, that was crazy. The reason for that is that the Fed was buying mortgage-backed security bonds and was driving the rates down, and there you have it. The reason it's starting to go up now is that they're slacking off of that. I know we're getting in the weeds here a little bit, but use this to your advantage. You know, right now, conventional conforming rates are right about 5.75. You're looking at FHA in the low 5s, but you're going to end up paying points. And it has to do with the bond market, and there's just not an appetite for bonds that are above the 5% range. So when you start to see that, you know, we're not used to charging points to our clients, right? We usually do it for 0 points. But what's happening now is that you might have 5.125, but it might cost you a half a point. It's just because we don't have a rate sheet. We don't have higher rates available.
And I want to step in for a second. The
Yeah.
Federal Reserve is bringing those interest rates up because they want to curb inflation. And we've seen this for centuries happening, and this is nothing new. We're just staying ahead of it and being better right now. And I think the headline right here, only 19% of consumers thinks it's a good time to buy right now. A couple years ago, everybody thought it was a good time to buy. So now we're seeing what? A lot of consumers and buyers sitting on the fence. And it's our job to kind of go back to them with this information and say, well, why do you think it is a bad time to buy? And then start having your conversations about why it is a good time to buy. And that's what we're going to jam-pack this meeting with today.
Yeah, that's a good point. and there's an article. If you'd like it, shoot me an email. I'll send it to you. Fannie Mae did a survey. 76% of buyers out there didn't think it was a good time to buy. 19% did. So, but again, that's national, right? We're in the Nevada market. We have demand. People are moving here. You know, they're coming from California. They're coming from Oregon. They're coming from those western states. They're coming from all over. But, you know, we have that continuous demand, and that's going to keep our buyers. It's going to keep the inventory kind of low, too, probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, any questions at all, or I'll turn it over to anything?
Come on, throw a question out for JD, anything right now.
JD, you're just too good, man.
Yeah, right.
I got one for you. Okay, we're at 5.5% interest rate right now. Is it going to tick up a little bit more? And when do you see it coming down a little bit for the rest of the year?
I don't think it's going to come down for the rest of the year. When the Fed raises rates, they're raising retail rates, car loans, credit cards, right? It's not a direct effect. If the Fed raising the rates was the only time mortgage rates would change, then mortgage rates would just stay the same all the time. So it's mortgage-backed security bonds that is doing that moving of the rates. But so we think that because of the Fed raising the rates, it's going to start taking pressure off the bonds. Probably late next year to early the following year, we should see rates come back down again.
Okay, let's give one big clap for Mr. JD.
I got a question right there.
Okay, well,
Do you
let's keep
think
him
it will
on
go
board.
up to 7%?
I'm sorry?
Do you think it will go up to 7% or no?
You know, I don't think it'll go up to 7%, but, you know, I've been doing this 22 years. I've seen it in the 8s. If the economy was a good, strong economy, a good interest rate would probably be mid-6s to 7%. That's where, you know, if you look at history, that's where it would be. But then they keep the pressure on keeping the rates down to keep the housing market going, because it's an important part of the economy. Yes?
You got a lot of brand new people in here.
Yeah.
Would you mind explaining what it means to be buying down points?
You know, there's two type of points. Origination points, which is really our lender fee. Now it's listed under origination, and then what she's talking about is discount points. So discount points is when you're buying down the interest rate. So, you know, 1% is, 1 point is 1% of the loan amount. Not the purchase price, the loan amount, okay? So it's 1%. So a half a point is a half a percent. So that's what I was talking about earlier. If it costs you, let's say, a half a point, it's a half a percent of the loan amount that we have to charge to get the rate.
And most consumers right now, if they're buying a home, they're like, man, I missed out on that 3 or 3.5% interest rate. JD, is there any way to get it down? And he says, yeah. If you give us an additional $5,000 towards your closing costs, I can take your rate from 5.5% to 4.5%, and I can save you this much on your mortgage payment. Does that make sense to you, Mr. Buyer? Well, yeah, I'd love to have a 4.5% interest rate because my mortgage is going to look like this, and it's only going to cost me $5,000 right now. Let's do it. Now, that's not precise, but that's when you're meeting with your loan officer and your buyer to determine if buying down the rate actually makes sense and if they have the money to buy down the rate. So some people do, some people don't. So that's a conversation you should be having in the pre-qualification stage.
Correct. Most of the times, the return on investment, and that's something that we do for them. So we'll take a look at, it's costing you $5,000, you're saving this much per month. What's your return on investment? And a lot of times, it's 4 or 5 years. It's not worth it then, you know? If you get a return on investment of a couple years, then it might be worth it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yep.
Got to
All
look
right,
at
awesome.
the ROI on it.
Thanks,
JD.
JD.
JD, real quick, we had someone who said, I thought discount points were 1% of the loan amount, and that would give you a 0.25% discount on your rate. Is it 1-for-1 now?
It depends. It varies. It could be 1% could give you a half a point. So it just depends. So it's called the compression. In other words, our rates go by eighths, right? So you have 5, 5 1/8, 5 1/4. And so we have to look and see what the cost is. And it's not the same for each eighth. It differs, okay?
And for
So we
all
have
my
to look at each
Zoomers at
one.
home having coffee, watching us right now, it's way too early in the morning to talk about eighths.
I love
Just
it.
teasing you. Thanks, JD.
Thanks,
Appreciate
JD.
you, man.
All right, thanks.
All right, so next on deck is our very own Kevin Wolf from First American Home Warranty. Woo!
What's up, everybody?
We got to create a jingle for Kevin now.
I know, like my anecdotes.
Oh, there's a microphone right down there.
Good morning, everybody. Kevin, First American Home Warranty. Thanks for having me again. Order all your home warranties through me, but today I just want to give you some words of wisdom. Tomorrow I turn the big 5-0.
Happy
So,
birthday!
I want to share my top 5 things I've learned over my first 50 years on this planet, and I hope that you'll take them to heart, especially younger ones, because you can get caught up in the moment of business and forget about life. So here you go. Number 1, don't worry about what other people think. When I was younger, I worried so much about what everybody thought, and it ruined my head for a long time. Have the confidence and don't worry about it. Wear it, do what you want to do, and be you. Second, be kind. You know, we live in a world where everybody's slinging at each other every 2 seconds. Just be kind. It's easy. Just be nice. Number 3, don't be about the money, be about helping others. If you help others along the way, the money will come. I've never looked at a paycheck, and that's the damn truth. I've never looked at a paycheck. I've always just showed up, did my job. Of course, I see what money goes into my bank account. If it was like $2, I might have said something. But at the end of the day, if you help others and you get them to where they want to be, you'll get to where you want to be. And that's the truth. Number 4, get up, dress up, and show up. Every day. It doesn't matter. I don't care if you're sick, you don't feel good, whatever, all the excuses you can come to. Get up, dress up, and go show up. Okay, unless it's COVID, because then everybody will get mad. That used to work, right? Until like 2 years ago. Number 5, keep your circle small and make time for people that are in your circle. Too often we think we need to have 1 million friends and we think all these people are on our side. May or may not be true. Keep your circle very small and appreciate the people that are in it. I'm going to give you a number 6 bonus. Have a work-life balance. Young people, you have to have a work-life balance. It can't be all about banging your head against the wall every single day. Find that balance between your family, your work life, and work. And I'll leave you with this little quote from one of my favorite movies of all time, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around for a while, you could miss it. So here's to my 50. And I appreciate everybody in here. And I hope when you think about home warranty, you think about First American. Happy birthday, Kevin.
Happy birthday. I gotta be honest, I think we should just stop the meeting now.
Yeah, I feel good, baby.
That was great. Happy birthday, Kevin. All right, Miss Annie, I don't know how you're going to top that, but so this is Annie Sawyer from Landmark Title. What do you have for us today?
Hi everyone, I'm Annie from Landmark Title. I just wanted to say thank you so much for sending me your escrows. I really do appreciate them. I did want to say if you are starting to see that you are being countered outside to a different title company, don't be afraid to counter me back in. If you do need me to speak to the other agent, I can do so as well. I can send them a net sheet. I can talk to them. I'm always here for you guys to get the deal done.
Question.
Yes.
I'm a listing agent,
Okay.
and Mary's the buyer's agent, and Mary submits an offer to me, and it has Landmark Meadows with Annie on that. And I go, Mary, I have 30 offers on my property right now. I don't want to go with your title company. I can pick anyone I want because I'm holding all the cards in the seller's market. And then I send you a counter and say, I want to go with Chicago Title. And then you fold. What we're trying to do is say, you don't have to fold at that point. What we could say is, hey, I'd like you to go with my preferred title and escrow company because my buyer's already been talking to them. We're set up for success. Our amazing escrow officer is going to do a phenomenal job on it. So I'm going to send you one counter back. And at that point, if your seller doesn't agree to all the other beautiful terms in my offer, then we can discuss you countering me back again. And then the listing agent's kind of like, man, you know what? I'm not really liking Mary right now. Let's be honest. I don't want to go back and forth. If Mary goes back on that second counter and says, I want you to go with Annie, can Annie offer the seller any discounts or incentives to go with Landmark Meadows?
Yes, so we do have discounts. We do have senior discounts. That will be a 25% off the escrow fee. And then also there is a listing discount for the MLS. So that's 30% off the escrow fee. I can always just do a discount as well if that's going to save the deal to come to me.
And let's be straight up, that's what we want to do. We want to send our business to our preferred partners. They help us, we help them. So Mary, when you're on the phone with the listing agent or sending an email, you can simply say, go with our preferred title company, and I'm going to save you up to 30% on escrow fees. And I'm not sure if Chicago Title is going to be able to do that for your client. So doesn't it make sense that we just go with Landmark? And I'd say about 50 to 60% of the time, they're going to say yeah and just move on with the counter, and everything's going to be great. So that's what I want to teach you guys to do in your business. You have questions on how to do it, and you want to get a little bit more detailed on it. That's what your beautiful leadership team's here to help you with. So keep that in mind going forward. Mr. Wool.
How was the horror story class?
It was good.
Yeah, I was curious how that went.
Well, you didn't show up.
Sounded fun.
Get them, Annie, get them. So Annie taught an escrow class about horror stories in title and escrow, and it went well?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It did. You had some
Think
fun in there?
You want to do one?
I do want to do one for mortgages.
So we do a horror story mortgage?
I think that'll be a good class.
Story, no warranty. That would take like days. Sometimes we're the horror story.
All right, and then I'll do one too. We'll do real estate horror stories as well.
I love
All right, well, Annie, thank you. One big clap for Annie.
Thanks, Annie. All right, I also want to highlight, we mentioned it last week, but our very own Matthew Castellano is now our new in-house photographer. He also does the 360 tour as well, so if you're interested in booking him, his information is right behind us. If you do need drone photography, you still want to use Neon Sun, all their information is in Element.
His pricing is absolutely absurd. It's the lowest in the market. All the photos are beautiful, and the 3D virtual tour that goes on Zillow for your listings is extremely important. And I'd say 90% of the agents here in Vegas don't utilize it, and it gets your listing thousands of showings on Zillow when you use it. So if you have a listing, Castellano's your guy. Go for it.
Yep. All right, next slide, Ryan. I'll let you take this one.
What is this one? This is, okay, we're going to look at Sisu. Sisu is our dashboard for tracking all of our metrics in real estate and building our business. I just wanted to take 1 minute, call it the orange minute right now, and discuss Christian Carruthers. There he is over there. Christian is tracking all of his metrics in Sisu, and I want to thank him for actually tracking. I know it's not that difficult, but it's also something you have to do in your business, so we have to repetitively think about doing it every day. So I wanted to bring up Christian's dashboard. He has conversations. Conversations equal deals. That's how we promote Sisu. But we had basically we set a goal for 400 conversations. Is that easy to hit every month? No, it's not. Let's be real. It's a lot of conversations per day. So you hit 303 conversations for the month of April, and that got you 8 buyer appointments set. Then you had 9 buyer appointments met, so you got an extra deal in there, and you closed 1 transaction. So for those 300 conversations, let's say your gross commission income was $8,000, great job. Then with these appointments met, you have 9 people that you're nurturing right now that are potentially going to be a paycheck in the future for you on the buy side. With those conversations, you also set 2 listing appointments, met 1 listing appointment, and you're nurturing that seller so you can get a new listing in. These numbers are fantastic. Your database is growing, and you could roll the clock forward another month and see anywhere from 2 to 3 closings under your belt from the conversations that you're having. And as you build your database and as you track this, I will be personally coaching you through the conversion rates, getting these to close deals, and then asking for past closed client referrals, building your database, and then doing open houses on your listing so you could double end your business. That's what it's about, guys. And I just want to give one big clap to Christian for doing a great job.
Woo! It's all about building those habits, and everything here on our dashboard, these are measurable goals. And as leadership or for your productivity coaches, the reason we want you to track everything is if you're having 400 conversations and we're not seeing any traction into the next level, we can define that and refine that for you, right? How is your dialogue? Are you putting effort into all the buckets, right? We can start measuring that. If you start having a ton of appointments set and there's zero conversion into a met, what's going on, right? So that's why this is so helpful. One of the reasons it's so helpful in your business, helps us help you as well.
The first thing I'm going to do when we sit down is talk about those dials on the buyer signed and under contract. And that's going to be all the people you're nurturing. And we're going to go through your database in KV Core and CSU, and we're going to talk about those clients. And then by the end of the meeting, we're going to go back to your conversations and figure out what all your lead generation looks like and how you're bringing those conversations to the table every day. I'm excited to work with you on that.
Awesome. All right. So next on deck, I want to highlight our very own Kira because she had a beautiful review just hit her Zillow. And reading it, I'm not surprised. So Kira Brewer helped me sell my house for a far greater sum than I'd hoped for, and we closed early. She was available at any hour to address my concerns and answer questions, of which I had many. When complications arose, Kira resolved them quickly and kept me informed along the way. The open house Kira set up was beautiful, fun, and successful. I've worked with several realtors in the past, and Kira was the most thorough and attentive by a significant margin. I highly recommend Kira Brewer to anyone in the market to buy or sell a home. Good job, Kira. Where did you get that lead from, Kira? Tell us a little bit about this transaction.
This was my listing that I just had, and it was not without problems. We're working with a hedge fund, and if you work with a hedge fund, they're assholes. But every obstacle that came up, I pushed forward. I charged it head on. And I just didn't give up. I mean, the deal, I think another agent could have lost this deal, but I wasn't losing it. This was about, I estimate 42.5 over what appraised value would have been.
Wow.
Wow.
So he walked away with a lot of cash. I basically paid for myself and then some. And my client was never wondering where I was or what was going on. I like to call my clients before they call me. That is one of the keys to giving great customer service. And if you find your clients calling you all the time, you got to step back and you got to think about what you're doing because you are doing something wrong. Call them before they call you.
Awesome. What a great way to...
I love it.
That's the highest level of customer service. And what was the lead source? Where'd you find that client from?
It was part of my SOI.
Okay.
And he had about, 3 other realtors trying to shark him and say, hey, come over here, I'll sell your house, I'll do this. And I know I sold that house for more money than he would have gotten with somebody else.
Great job. SOI, one of the #1 lead sources that you have. And I want to point out the reason we showcase this review is obviously because of the great job, and we just want to thank you for it, right? The other part is the lead source. Where did we get this client from, right? So we got to focus on that in our databases and generating business. And then now what's going to happen? Is that a past closed client that's going to send you some referrals probably?
Absolutely.
If you stay on them and not be like all the other realtors in Las Vegas that don't talk to their closed database, right?
Well, you want to know something that I thought was very interesting about this? Hey. I really feel like this is a very close personal friend of mine, but we got even closer through this transaction because I was able to serve him and he was able to see my professionalism and also how much I care about him and his family. And that's a really special time for us to be able to serve our sphere of influence, and it will only help us create a bigger sphere, and we're going to be friends forever. Because nobody's going to turn their back on someone who made them a bunch of money, cares about them, and just in general adds value to their life.
Exactly. Wow. Amazing story. I got another thing I want to point out. So Buell, just hold on. I know you're anxious to support, but hold on. One other thing I want to point out. We push reviews. I have over 1,000 reviews online right now. That helped my career build out to what it is today. those reviews now, if she's going to have 200 conversations next month, and she's going through her SOI, going through her open houses, and maybe we're pumping you Facebook leads or a Zillow lead or any of the other lead generation tools out there. When those leads come in and somebody has a conversation with you and then hangs up and goes online and goes, who the hell is this Kira Brewer that I was talking to online? What's going to happen is that's going to pop up, that review, her face, and it's going to show what clients are saying about her. And then when she has the next conversation with that person in their database, they're going to feel warm and fuzzy about working with Kira because she went through the time and effort to get reviews online. That's why reviews are important. And we get so many leads over to our ISA department just on reviews only. It will create a lot more opportunities for you guys. And reviews are very, very easy to get compared to everything that you have to do as a real estate agent. So you guys got to keep that in mind, and that's why we showcased it. Now you can take the mic.
Woo! Good job, Kira. It's all about building the relationships. It's not just about a transaction.
We have a question.
Okay.
At what point, as a realtor, in a transaction, do you ask them to give you a review? Do you do it when it's closed? Or how do you do it? Do you just send them a link?
Yep, so there's a few different ways. Right now, if I was a new agent and I don't have a lot of closings, or you just have friends and family if you're a seasoned agent, I would call all the people I know and say, hey, I'm in real estate. Do you mind putting a review online? And it doesn't have to be a closed transaction. It doesn't even need that me and Mary work together. All you have to do is say, I'm a real estate agent, I'm professional, and I give a high level customer service. So anybody that you know can write a review for you online, and that's not a lie. So you get those upfront initial reviews from everybody that you know. Then the second part is when I do close a transaction, I grab my Zillow link, my Realtor.com, my Yelp, and my Google link, and then I forward that in an email to the client, and I call them and say, hey, I sent you 4 links to my review sites. Your feedback's important. It helps build my business. Would you take 10 minutes to write up a review and copy and paste it on each one of these review sites for me? Because I want to showcase my business, and I'd really appreciate if you did that. And then next time I see you, I'd love to give you a Starbucks gift card. Boom. You have like reviews coming out of everywhere at that point. And if you can get each one of your sites up to about 25 reviews each, then you're probably in the top 20% of real estate agents in Las Vegas at that point, because nobody really focuses on it, and it's a huge lead generation tool. So can you get 25, 50, 100, 150 reviews? Everybody sitting in this room can easily do it, and don't tell me because I don't have transactions closed I can't do it. I just gave you the recipe. Great question.
You hit the nail on the head with the Starbucks gift cards. When I first was in the industry and when we used to be able to give out gift cards back in the day, I built all of my reviews and information off the Starbucks gift card. You know, it's just like all you have to do is just ask for it. They'll do it, and then you say, hey, if you do it for me, I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee. I'm going to send you a Starbucks gift card. So it's definitely an easy way to get them on the hook.
Amen. Thanks for the testimonial.
All right, let's keep going. All right, so 2 weeks ago we did some social media tips. We talked about videos and reels and how important that is for your business on social media. Last week we talked about the best days and hours to post, and today we'll just quickly go over what you should be sharing on social media. So first and foremost, be professional. Make sure the content you share positions you as a trusted advisor and not an amateur or a salesperson. Be cautious on anything political, religion-based, right? This is your professional social media. This stuff follows you forever and ever. Create variety. You don't want to just be posting about your under contract and your solds and I'm a realtor, right? You want to add some more of you in there. So don't forget that. You want to start adding family, where you're eating, vacations, all that. You want to keep it interesting. You don't want it to be real estate, real estate, real estate, real estate, because people will start tuning out. And plan in advance. I think this is so important. For the whole month, plan and map out your content, and then you can set it and forget it. There's a lot of online dashboards that you can use. I've used 847studio.com in the past, Coffee and Contracts, Porchlight. These just kind of map it out and make it easier for you. So maybe it's 1 or 2 days a week you're wanting to post about real estate. Use those platforms, and you don't even have to do it yourself. It makes it a lot easier. One of the best ways to position yourself as a trusted advisor in social media is sharing the latest insights on the overall housing market, what's happening with interest rates, how much of a down payment is really necessary, what is the best time to buy or sell. These are quick little videos and posts you can do. Maybe it's every Monday you're doing something about lending and mortgage, right? Maybe every Tuesday you're doing market updates for the value and of the valley, and then the rest of the week it's all about you. So just wanted to throw that in there, just a quick little social media tip. Now we're going into Resolution Realty updates. Just to let everyone know, we are moving the Ask Me Anything AMA hour and daily dose to the afternoon. We just found it was a little clunky with the schedule with ERS training and stakeholders on Tuesday. So now it's going to be Monday through Thursday from 2 to 3. So someone from leadership will always be available in the training room to answer any questions that may come up throughout the day as you're working on your business. Okay, and I also want to announce that Aaron is teaching a leads class on Thursday at 1 p.m., so that should be a good one.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago I did a lead class that was all based on paid leads, right? Facebook, Zillow, Realtor.com, etc. This week when I teach the leads class, it's non-paid leads. SOI, open houses, Mojo dialing, what we offer for leads, but it's the I don't pay for leads class. Anybody that wants to attend that, it's going to be a solid hour in the training room. Bring your questions, and it's going to be fun. We had a great turnout, and the last one was great, too. So we're going to keep that rolling on everything lead gen.
Great. You want to talk about Investor?
Yeah, the Investor Workshop. I'm going to be starting that next week. It's basically a 4-part series. We're dialing in if it's going to be an hour to 2 hours per class because it's a lot of information on investing, house flipping, renting, everything I've done in my career. I've flipped over 500 homes in any market that I've been in. So I have the recipe dialed in a PowerPoint. It's going to be a 4-part series. I want you guys to come personally for your buyers, for investing. You want to get into house flipping or anything like that. I'll give you all the do's and don'ts and fast track anybody who wants to flip homes and be in that environment. It's certainly one of the best and most profitable lead sources I've ever been into. Personally, it's fun flipping homes, investing in homes. It made my career. So you guys would want to show up for that one. It's going to be really good.
Great. All right, Andrew Fair is going to come and help us with the national market insights.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so.
You know me, I love data.
Yeah, we're going to go over some national numbers and graphs and data, and then Aaron's going to do a hyper focus on what's happening in the Valley. All right, so the first slide you can see the rise of interest rates going all the way back just from December 30th. So you can see this rise. Use this information to be the knowledgeable agent for your clients. Make sure you're asking the right questions based on these interest rates. Zillow just released an article and they came out with some really good questions that you can ask. Can you afford this home, and will you be happy here for several years? So remember, at least 3 and probably 5 years in a home is a pretty standard horizon for buyers. If they answer yes, this 5% interest rate is maybe a bummer compared to a year ago, but that option isn't really on the table anymore. So it's just asking the right questions right up front so you're not wasting anyone's time, including your own.
All right, so we see here from Odetta Kushi, this is the Deputy Chief Economist for First American. They say, while some additional Fed tightening is already baked into today's average mortgage rates, ongoing inflationary pressure remains likely to push mortgage rates even higher in the months to come. And we know JD was up here talking about that. Inflation is, it's the enemy of long-term interest rates. And we know that they're going to keep them high because inflation's high. They're not lowering them anytime soon. So again, this is knowledge that you give folks and you give your clients. You want to be the knowledgeable agent that's coming to them when they've got 10 other agents coming at them with their knowledge and their expertise. You've got it here. Make sure you take it to your clients.
Awesome. All right. The next slide headlines how today's mortgage rates impact your home purchase. So the Fed is moving, just like we talked about it. We're starting to see headlines and people say, recession, recession, recession. People are going, great, here we go again. And they're starting to revert back to the housing crisis in their mind from 2008. And now they're starting to think foreclosures. And they're saying, I'm just going to wait on the sidelines and see what happens here. So what we're going to be talking about is how foreclosures shouldn't even be in the vocabulary and why. It all comes back to educating our clients. And you need to bring facts to the clients that you serve.
Yeah, so both foreclosures and forbearance. So we see here, we were actually talking about forbearance, I want to say last summer, if I remember correctly, and we thought, oh man, forbearances, there's so many folks in forbearance, maybe that's going to throw some inventory into the market. We kept waiting, we kept waiting, we kept watching, and it didn't happen. Here's why. 92% of the 8.2 million homeowners who sought forbearance protection have exited those plans. 92%. And what the following slides will show is that where we even thought those numbers would be wildly, wildly wrong. So we see here the initial forecast, we thought there would be at least 30% of folks going into forbearance. The actual peak only hit 8.6%. We're currently sitting at 1%. So again, the forbearance talk, get it out of your mind. Forbearances are not playing any kind of a role in adding inventory or causing any kind of bubble to burst. Go ahead, Aaron.
How many foreclosures, REO properties do we have on the market right now? Sonia? 7. Okay. How many short sales do we have? 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, the other day I saw one.
There is no crash. There is no forbearance that we're worried about. There are no foreclosures out there. For this market to flip over and fall like it did in the 07 days is not even possible because of the equity position, the buyer demand, and the economy that we're in right now. So everybody, I will preach this every week. Get that out of your head. That's not the direction we're going as we enter this recession that we're in.
Yeah, and as you can see here, I mean, it's still falling. Loans and forbearance are still falling. So it's not going to be an issue. And the next slide, Andrew and I love this next slide. Do you want to take this one away?
Yeah, again, we're seeing we're going to repeat what we keep seeing in the previous slides. So this is a pie chart that shows loans upon exiting forbearance programs. So 37% were paid in full. We know folks are they've got equity coming out of their ears, all right? 44.6% were workouts or repayment plans. So they got with their bank, they got with their lender. They said, hey, help me here, all right? 18.4% were still in trouble, okay? But we see that's what, 80, 82, 83% were either paid in full or they had some kind of payment plan that they got on with their lender. So the big drop, it never came. It never came. Again, equity, low rates, people getting back to work, they were able to start making their payments and then work stuff out with their lending institution. So the bubble never burst again.
Yeah, all right, next slide.
And again, we see here forbearances and seriously delinquent loans continue to decline to pre-pandemic levels, attributable to the strong housing market and loss mitigation activities implemented by policymakers, investors, mortgage servicers. We're just going to keep saying it. The bubble's not bursting here. We're seeing forbearances dropping every single day. People are getting out of them. They're making their payments again. There is no big forbearance bubble that's going to throw thousands of properties back onto the market. Aaron, you look like you want to, you're itching. You're itching. You
So,
good?
in short, a strong market equals a strong plan. Even if sellers are in a pickle right now, they have options. They can sell quickly. They can use equity to get themselves out of that pickle. Mostly every single homeowner has some type of equity in their home. So you want to be that agent that can help them navigate through their options.
Now, moving away from forbearances, we look at foreclosures. So we see in 2017, we had 314,000 foreclosures. The average just between 2017 and 2019, 290,000 foreclosures. In 2020, we had a shortfall on that average of 161,000 foreclosures. We only saw 129,000. And in 2021, even worse, 252 short on the foreclosure side. Okay, we only had 38,000 foreclosures. Again, equity, the market, all right? What we're seeing here, people thinking foreclosures are just coming onto the market in this huge, huge wave. You've got the knowledge right here to be able to educate them and say, not so fast, not so fast. Let me show you a graph or two that might change your mind. And sure enough, I'd look at this and go, oh my God, you're right. Thank you. Thank you. Might actually push them to go, maybe it is my time to buy, all right, before the rates continue to tick up. And they're yelling at JD because he just quoted him at 6.5%. Way to go, JD.
Yeah, and it's a different conversation you're having with your buyers, right? So the ones that are saying, I'm waiting, I'm going to stand on the sidelines until something changes, use this to educate them now, depending on appreciation and the interest rates. That's a different conversation on what they can actually afford, right? But as agents, we need to be those teachers and educators for them, so this stuff isn't just spewing in our city. Yep.
Just a quick comment. We're starting to see equity lines, right? So they're sitting on a low interest rate with a lot of equity, but they could get an equity line if they need cash.
Right? Yep. It goes back to sellers right now having options if they find themselves in a situation.
Plenty of options.
All right. Ready?
And we'll end on this. Again, to close out the foreclosure discussion, foreclosure activity has continued to gradually return to normal levels, but even with the large year-over-year increase in foreclosure starts and bank repossessions, foreclosure activity is still only running at about 57% of where it was in Q1 2020, the last quarter before the government enacted consumer protection programs due to the pandemic. So we're at 57%. 57%. I mean, those are huge numbers. Again, take this information, educate your clients, educate the folks sitting on the sidelines saying, it's coming, the bubble's here, don't worry, we're going to see those foreclosures, hundreds of thousands of them. I don't know. I might be swayed otherwise looking at this stuff. So food for thought.
Awesome.
Food for thought, gang, all right?
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, gang.
All right, so Aaron, I'll let you take it away with the local insights and what's
Yeah.
happening here in the Valley.
I want to take you guys back to 2019 and COVID. When the pandemic happened, everybody thought in the entire world that we were going to see inventory go up, we were going to see short sales and foreclosures come back, and it was just going to turn us upside down, right? I even thought it. It was nervous for me, even carrying the brokerage, all my friends, my agents, talking to the high-level people across the board that I know. We all kind of thought that was going to happen. But it didn't, right? What we saw was the buyer demand just increased, and then the inventory just went down. And since then, all of you guys, with the low inventory market that we've had, has been the hardest real estate industry or market that I've ever been in. It's been a tough market with the inventory being so low and the properties moving so fast. So now when we see this recession come in and we see this inventory coming back, this is awesome. This is exactly what we wanted to see, and it's happening before our eyes, and that's why we're going to be looking at the market stats today. Listings were difficult to get. I think last month we had a total of like 17 listings that came in. Good for any real estate brokerage like ours. But Matthew Castellano came in here at 5 o'clock last night, and he was walking out like this with lockboxes. I go, where the hell are you going, dude? He goes, I got to go on 9 listing appointments this week. And I go, from our lead generation? He goes, yeah. So we're doing overnight, because inventory's creeping up, overnight we had like 9 more listing appointments than we had before. So we can go from 17 to 30 to 40 to 50 new listings right now with the same lead generation, spending less money than we were doing for the last 2 or 3 years with the pandemic. That's just one example of what good inventory coming back means for us. So keep that in mind. The next thing I want to look back at is what was the last 4 months of sales. In January, we did 3,300 units. In February, we did 3,400 units. In March, we did 3,400 units. April, we did 3,400 units. That's a lot of transactions per month when the inventory was low, and it's 1,000 more units per month than we were doing in 2020, which means if we were in a low inventory market and we're hitting historic numbers in Vegas, and then the inventory increases, we're going to be doing even better than we have ever seen in this market. The only difference, well, the way I look at it is that's a ton more business coming to us. But we also went from 17,000 real estate agents to 21,000 real estate agents in Las Vegas within the last 3 years. So there's more agents, more transactions. You just got to be better at your job on the lead gen and the conversions, but the deals will be there and a lot more of them. So let me jump into a couple little market conditions for you guys. Let's look at the increase in inventory. So in the last, I don't know, for the better part of 2 years, it's been 0.8 month supply, 0.8 month supply, 0.5 month supply, 0.7 month supply. It's like I was getting up here and repeating myself like a parrot, saying the inventory is always the same, and you guys kind of knew that. And then we have more inventory coming in, and it's getting excited, and we basically went from 0.7 month supply to 0.9 month supply. It's still super low. A buyer's market is 6 month supply. We're really only at 1 month supply right now. So looking at the total new inventory slide that we had, we went from 2,000 homes to 3,000 homes being on the market since January. That's the number we want to focus on right now. January to now, we went from 2,000 homes to 3,000. And if we continue to do this for the next 3 months, 4 months, 6 months to the end of the year, and we're getting 1,000 new units every 3 to 4 months, will we have 6,000 homes on the market by the end of the year? Raise your hand if you think, yes, that's going to be the case. Scared to raise your hand? David raised his hand. I think we could possibly be trending at 5,000 homes on the market by the end of this year, which is going to create a lot of turmoil for what buyers want to do, what sellers are thinking is going to happen. Is everybody going to crash? And now you get the review journals and all these articles popping up on the news. Are we in for a crash? And then buyers just go, we're going to crash, so we're going to wait. And they don't know everything we're talking about here. And then sellers who overlisted their properties are like, I got a price reduce and sell right now, right? Is that the case? And then when you meet with a seller, you got to say, yes, I want to sell your home for top dollar. Don't overprice it. Just be the best price, best looking property in the subdivision, and we'll sell it for top dollar. And we don't got to worry about that new inventory coming in. Let's do what's right by you right now. So that's the kind of language you're going to want to have when you're talking to people for the buyer side and the seller side. So let me jump on to another stat for you guys. On average, we had 900 listings hitting the market every week. Right now, we have 1,300 listings hitting the market every week. And that includes back on market cancellation. So people that fell out of escrow went back on market. So if we see that trend staying at 1,300 new listings per month and it keeps going and going, that could get us into that 5,000 range of new inventory as we go into the end of the fourth quarter. We can move on to, okay, total inventory now. You got to think of the big picture, guys. The total inventory right now is 3,153 units. That includes condos, townhomes, and single families. The bigger picture we always look at are how many single family homes are on the market. Right now we have 2,500, which increased from 1,700 since February. So within just a few months, we went from 1,700 SFRs to 2,500. You know, that's an 800 unit pickup in 4 months. So will that trend? That's what we're going to keep our eyes on. As we move into the sold and under contract slide, we had 800 units to 1,100 units that closed and went under contract since January. So what's that mean? Well, as the inventory is increasing, well, let me go back. We were having 800 units closed per week. Now with the inventory increasing, we have 1,100 units closing per week. What's that mean? Can anybody tell me what that means? It means the buyer demand are purchasing those homes still at a rapid pace as the new inventory is coming on. So that's what's keeping everything stable. So there's more transactions because the buyer demand is still coming into Vegas. If we look at the total price reduction slide, we went from 180 price reductions to 442 price reductions per week based on since January. So why did the price reductions increase so dramatically over the last few months? Christian, tell me why. Correct. Interest rates, the recessions, sellers are getting nervous about where the market's going, so they're price reducing. And what I said a few weeks ago is that a lot of the new inventory that was coming to market was, yeah, baby, overpriced, exactly. So now all those people are coming to fruition and saying to themselves, all right, I went for the big price, I'm not getting it, and now those price reductions are coming in like crazy. You know, Greg was looking at those stats on a day-to-day basis, so kudos to him. So moving on to price segments. So what price, like we break down segments over here. So one of them is like $275 and under. If I was trying to buy a house for $275 and under, Sonia, how many properties are on the market $275 and under right now? It went from 9 to 7 units. So even though inventory is going up, there's still only 7 homes on the market under $275.
Can I just say, it's just fascinating that just a couple years ago, this was the median home price, and now it is gone.
What is the median home price now? They just released that stat a couple days ago.
$475.
Exactly, $475. What was it right before that?
$450.
$450. So affordability is still going up, or it's difficult. And then will FHA come back in and increase their FHA limits? TBD, right, guys? All right, let's look at the 275 to 500 range. We went from 600 units to 900 units since January, which is good. And we're still trending at 300 closings per week. So the buyer demand stayed the same, and the sold contracts didn't meet the exact amount of new inventory. So there's about a 25% increase of new inventory on the 275 to 500 range. So there's inventory coming back in that price range, and it's still kind of being chewed up by the buyers because it's affordable. 275 to 500 is affordable for people that are purchasing here. So when we go to the 500 to 1 million price range, we went from 750 units to 1,200 units on the market. So we got some new inventory. Our closings trended at 250, but then I looked at it and it looks like there's a 35% increase in new inventory that's not being purchased right now. So now in that price segment, there's not a lot of buyer demand, and we're seeing the inventory creep up over there. Then if you go to the 1 million plus range, we went from 300 units to 500 units over the last few months. We're still trending at 40 closed units, but the buyer demand is not staying with it because the $1 million price range, everybody went big because they wanted to sell those houses for $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 over what they're really worth in today's market. So we saw 50% of the new homes that are coming on in that price range are just sitting there. So if you're a luxury agent, you really want to focus on that there's a lot of inventory just sitting there that's not going to sell. And properties like that could be on the market for 3, 6, 9 months and possibly never sell if you can't get the seller to be realistic about their price. So that is today's local market watch and inventory. Kind of talked about the articles, the price reductions, where the market's going. This is the forum to discuss any of your questions. Does anybody have a couple questions about the market conditions and what buyers or sellers are saying?
Aaron, are we worried about big investor groups coming in and swooping in?
We are always worried about investor groups. Those hedge funds, in my opinion, will continue to buy real estate in Vegas. 50% of all the homes in Las Vegas are owned by a hedge fund, which means they will not be selling them. They will continue to rent them. The rent rolls are really pretty right now, really pretty right now. So I think Zillow's going to come back buying. That's what the word on the street is. OfferPad, Open Door, and then I've seen tons of hedge funds buying right now like crazy. I don't know which. I met with an agent on our team Ernest. Ernest got a cash offer on his property from a hedge fund, and he went into the MLS, punched in their name, and they bought 150 properties in like the last 3 months. That's just one little hedge fund. Think of how many of those hedge funds are out there that continue to roll those cash offers out. And then your listing was a hedge fund that bought it, right? So if you want to do something for the community, don't accept their offers. Simple as that. You talk to your seller, pull on their heartstrings. We don't want to buy this because they're going to grab it, they're going to rent it, they're going to put it in their portfolio, and it's one less, homeowner moving into a property. Amy, you have a question?
On my listing that just sold, one of the things that I had gone over with my seller at the listing appointment was that I would do the spreadsheet based on what criteria she was most interested in seeing. Obviously, you're not doing anything that's going to violate fair housing, but an investor is not a protected class. And so she wanted to see who was a real person who was interested in buying the house. So we had the price, but our second column she was looking at was she wanted to know, was this a person and not a hedge fund?
That's right.
And so our top 6 offers, she went with, it was the best price, and it was a real person. So you can have those conversations with the buyer's agents too, because, I would tell them, I'm not gonna tell you what the price is, but I'll tell you, you can throw numbers at me and I can tell you if you have to go higher.
And the hedge funds and the iBuyers don't care about your client. They don't care about the house. At any moment, they can pull out of that deal, and they got a 6-page addendum in there saying they can do so. So, words of wisdom, try to stay away from them if you can. But if they're going big and they're paying cash and they actually close, okay, so be it. That's the way it's going to look. I also noticed that I dropped a message in the Slack channel to the growth team yesterday, and some of you are seeing that the new inventory is lowering the multiple offer situations. Is that a thing? Can people say that's kind of happening right now? Okay, so multiple offers are going down, properties are sitting a little bit. You guys should feel like, okay, get a little bit breathing room here when I'm submitting offers. Still do all the things that we teach you as far as a multiple offer situation, but that's a sign of relief. And then real quick before Val jumps back in, we're going to do the growth meeting in the training room today. Achievement's going to be in the bubble, and Launch is going to roll over for their meeting in the Oak Room. Just want to give you guys all heads up why I had the stage.
Nice.
Back to you, Val.
Real quick, Aaron, we got a question on whether the numbers that you just went over include new builds or are they only resales?
It's everything that is in the MLS. So if it's a new construction property and they utilize the MLS to sell it, it's all MLS stats. If it's new construction, that I don't pull those numbers. So there are new construction companies out there where there's probably some more inventory on the market that then shows here. But that's just a stat we haven't pulled up. But you can certainly look it up and find out how many new construction properties are on the market and coming up. With that being said, new construction went from building it in 11 months to 22 months. So the builders are struggling with the supply chain, and obviously the costs are just astronomical. None of that's really changed for new construction and home builders.
All right, I think we got about 2 minutes left, so we're going to wrap this up pretty quickly. We got some new listings and it coming soon. We're going to post this on the Facebook group page as well, but we got one around 580,000, a 200,000, I believe that's a manufactured home, and a 390,000, and we have a coming soon for 1.1, and we got some fun open houses in the works for those. And this week, just as a reminder, AMA hour is now moving Monday through Thursday at 2 p.m. Tomorrow, ERS dialogue training, they're doing trivia, so if you haven't been part of that one before, it's really fun. They give away a bunch of gift cards, and there's a lot of fun participation, so make sure you join us in the training room or on Zoom. Thursday, we have Buyer Boot Camp. I'm going to show you how to pull a CMA, and then that's Aaron's lead class as well, the same day at 1 o'clock. And then just to give you a heads up, Memorial Day is fast approaching on Monday, May 30th, so leadership team and our admin will be available mobile and via Zoom if you need us. All right, and we're ready for some fun shout out. So can I have Miss Raina head over to the bell, and Jen Whitman and Ethan Alessi in the back.
Jen. And Ethan.
Ethan Alessi, we need you.
Why don't you do Raina first? Yep.
All right, so I wanted to bring Raina Gonzalez up here because she came to me a couple weeks ago and said, you know what, I'm really chopping at the bit here. I want to grow my business. How do I do that? And she's taken everything we've told her so seriously. She's been showing up every day. She says, I'm ready to make calls. I'm ready to farm. She's showing up to all training classes. So I just wanted to highlight, because that's so special to hear from one of our agents, that she is ready, she's dedicated, and she is wanting to work her business. So good job, Raina. Keep it up.
Ring the bell, Raina. Hit it hard. Awesome. You take a quick picture with me? Awesome.
And I know you'll have some escrows real soon.
That's right. Good. Great job, Raina. Another round for her real quick. You can have a seat, my dear. Thank you so much. She said thank you. So Ethan, our inside sales agent, and Jennifer Whitman, come on up for a second. Amber Guzman's at home right now, but she was part of this little story that I wanted to go over with you. So I have this written out, so bear with me. I'm often reminded why it's so important to utilize our agents and our preferred partners in this story, and I want to hammer a point home. We had an evaluation request come in that went to Ethan, and it had no name, no number, and no email. It was what we call a lead that is an address only. So with that being said, Ethan, behind the scenes, goes into the tax records, finds the property owner's name. That's all he had. So he puts it through this skip tracing software and pulls up like 6 different phone numbers that are tied to that homeowner's name. At which point, Ethan jumps on the phone and starts making phone calls to that homeowner, not knowing if it was the right phone number or not, but he has the numbers that he's researched. So it turns out he gets this person on the phone, and what they wanted to do was sell their house and then turn around immediately and buy a house. So I wanted to showcase the talent that this man deserves.
Woo.
Crushed it. So then he hands the lead off to Amber Guzman, who did a wonderful job of securing an appointment, signing the listing, and then was able to get that listing under contract. And it was a purchase of a home contingent on them selling their home. So maybe you can help me out here, because you talked to Amber. She goes and represents the listing. She signs the listing appointment, and then what do the sellers have to do next?
Right, so then they wanted to turn around and buy a home. She got them under contract contingent on the sale of their home. So she went in, and this was a flat fee that came in, and she went in there and got, was it 4.5%, Ethan, for the listing side? So she killed the game at the appointment, got a 4.5% listing, found them a home, got them under contract, contingent on selling their home. It's not easy to do.
So while all that's going on, Amber says to the seller who needs to buy, I have a preferred lender. Would you please use Jennifer Whitman to purchase your new home? So Jennifer steps in, gets the pre-qualification done, the underwriting, the pre-approval done, knocks it out of the park. But then all of a sudden, the person buying the seller's home, and I know it gets confusing, the buyer with the other agent who is buying the home has a loan that falls out. So then Jen picks up that loan for the other agent, keeps that loan going, gets it pre-approved, and actually closes that transaction and does 2 loans on the same deal from that lead that came in. So there was a total of $21,000 of gross commission income that came into Amber and our leadership team here, which is huge. It cost me $10 It cost me $10 to run that Facebook ad that initially sent the address-only lead over to Ethan, and then he converted it and sent it down the pipe for the $21K that brought into this office, and then 2 loans you probably made $100 million on, and she got her 2 loans. So I just want to share an amazing story with how we roll over here. But wait.
There's more. Both transactions closed on the exact same day. So kudos to Jen and Amber on that.
All right, so I'll ring this for you. Ryan, hit the music. All right, guys, have a great week. Thank you so much for everything.
It's a beautiful.
Bye, Zoomers at home. We'll catch you later.